Welcome to the coffee shop. Many of you have heard of Brother Timothy Dixon. He's a truck driver from Alabama who's been having dreams about President Trump's return. Not just about his return, but about the justice that is coming to America. He's seen whirlwinds, he's seen tornadoes, he's seen those who deserve justice receiving justice. And I think we all need a shot of hope right now. Today, he is our guest. I pray that you will watch until the end, and there will probably be a part 2. Thank you so much for joining me. And now I'm going to turn it over to Brother Timothy. You saw child traffickers uncovered in New York. Was it New York, New Jersey? In that same dream, the table turned. Child traffickers were uncovered. People in Pennsylvania were arrested.
Yes.
There were 2 people blackmailed, and then America will rise in revival. And then you saw at the end Air Force One. I'll let you tell it, but those things I remember specifically, the child trafficking, which we all want to hear. You know, I know the audience wants to hear.
I saw in the middle of this, it was like God was giving us a little morsel of bread. When Elijah went out to pray and he had his servant to go outside, the Lord told me this here a couple months back, that he went outside and he told him to go outside and see if you see any clouds of sign of rain. Well, his servant went outside and he come back and told the man of God, he said, I don't see nothing. Well, he went back out there and looked again. Man of God said, well, go look again. He didn't just go just twice. He went 7 times. Before finally he come back and said, I see the cloud the size of a man's hand. Now that's pretty tiny. And then he said, go tell Ahab it's going to rain. But we're in the time to where we're walking outside several times and we don't see one thing, nothing, because the news media right now is fighting extremely hard to keep any negative news about this election, any arrests, anything. They're keeping it from people. And if you get a hold to it, it'll be probably a miracle for you to see any news anyway. But I saw this, that the Lord, I seen them going more or less. It was throughout the country. I knew it was not just United States, but it was an abroad action that God was uncovering the children, trafficking children. And I had talked to a pastor, I believe actually, well, it was somewhere around before the inauguration. But they found 30-something children on the Mexican-Texas border. And
Right.
that I told a pastor, and it just come out, I said, the Lord's going to show you that Donald Trump's going to be president. I said, they'll find children on the border. And that's just exactly what I spoke. And that's what happened. Next day, it was in the news. They had found these children. Well, the Lord sees, he spoke in prophecy, I see the innocents.
Yes.
The children. If you look at the couple of prophecies, and not the dream, but the prophecies I've spoke to, it talked about the innocents in New York. I see innocents, which means the blood. He said their blood crying from the ground.
Yes.
I mean, old folks' home and the nursing homes and the people that's being destroyed, that people don't think nobody sees. God sees it. These children that's being trafficked, God sees it. But it was tied to the White House political not necessarily the Capitol Dome building, but the people that's involved, and New York City.
Yes.
You know, the people, it had great ties to New York, not New York City. I need to correct myself there. New York State.
Right.
But God is uncovering all this right now, and there's going to be a massive that being it's what it is, they're going to try to cover it up because of who's involved.
Yes. And
You
you
can
saw that.
bank on it. They're going to uncover a mass problem with trafficking children.
Yes.
Children. And it's going to be the officials of our elected people, and they're going to cover it up just best they can, holler and cover it up all they can. But God's going to let it get out somehow.
In that dream, you saw arrest in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Do you remember? Was it just like a rounding up of people that had been involved in election fraud, or
Yes.
did you see who it was?
I did see who it was, and I don't know if I should say the name, but they're the high officials in Pennsylvania.
Right.
They think they got by. North Carolina, they think they're the quietest of all of it. But I'm telling you, God sees the crookedness of the sleeper that's sitting in the state. You act like you're a Republican. You ain't no Republican, and you ain't even a Democrat. But God sees this stuff, and this ain't. I don't watch news. I don't watch stuff. I don't have a TV in my truck. I don't watch TV. If you want to watch it, that's up to y'all. I just don't do it. I choose to pray, choose to read my Bible. What time I do get, I'm having an interview with Sister Paige or somebody. Praise the Lord. But God sees North Carolina.
Yes.
God sees that, not just there. God sees Michigan. God sees Wisconsin. God sees all these states, New Mexico, all down through all this mess. God's fixing to turn the tables on the devil, and it's going to be an almighty God that's going to do this.
And God alone. You saw that there were two people blackmailed.
Yes.
And they were blackmailed by some really dark individuals.
Yeah. The blackmail I saw, I seen it real plain of these two particular individuals. And I've said we've got some pretty rough gangsters, some pretty tough people in the United States that's capable of doing a lot of things to people, and pretty mean people. But these people had no morals. They had no feeling of death, none. And they'd shoot you on the spot. And one I had seen, they were blackmailed. These people have been blackmailed to the highest level. They will die first before they tell anything.
Wow.
They will not. They are not. They have been, if somebody took my child and took them out somewhere and stuck a brick around their neck and drowned them in front of me, and then told me, if you don't be quiet, I'm gonna get everybody else that even anywhere close tied to you. I'm gonna get your dog too. I mean, what would you do?
I know. I was thinking about that when I listened to you.
Get courage to say something. Stand up. Well, it's easy to say that if the gun ain't pointing right at your face, saying, "Now say something."
Right.
And these people ain't playing. These people ain't just bluffing you. These people's, it's
because there's already been so many deaths. We've already seen the body count for those that spoke out against this mafia.
Yeah. Well, there was one in Georgia that there's a death already tied to the blackmail, and they know it.
Wow.
That's how serious this is. But these people, God's going to intervene. God's going to step in. That is what it's all about. God has chosen to reveal this ugly. He's chose to let it go. He has chose to harden Pharaoh's heart that he might show his hand when he delivers the children of Israel out of the hand of Egypt.
I believe it. And then at the end of that dream, that's when you saw President Trump.
Yeah, at the end of it, it was just a little old clip, more or less, saying this is the results of all this mess. And I've asked, do you think he knows? I don't know if he knows or not. And I've kind of made a comical statement. Somebody write him a letter and tell him don't unpack, all the way, because he's coming back. I don't know. I don't look too natural. I believe God. I
Yes.
believe I believe that Moses lifted a rod out and split the Red Sea. And according to the quartermaster of the army, that it took something like an 8-mile wide gap in the Red Sea, and they had to be 5,000 abreast, lined up 5,000 marching through an 8 and some odd mile wide gap in the Red Sea to get across the Red Sea with 3.5 million people overnight. And
Wow.
then it was a freight train about 10 miles long just to have water, not counting another freight train about 10 miles long for the wood. Then you had to feed that bunch of people out there. And not only that, their shoes did not even shrink. It growed with their feet for 40 years. I believe in that kind of God. This is not a good story for my children. This ain't a good old man. Ain't that something? No, I believe in a God that did this, and he can do it today. It's not over. He is still the same miracle working God that he was yesterday. He'll be today, and he'll be that way tomorrow. He don't change.
Yeah. Yes.
There's really no divine answer from heaven. We've took the Bible and we tried to preach encouraging statements, encouraging words, but we need something right now from the throne.
That's right. We do.
Something. And if I don't do it, Sister Paige, God's going to have that junkie out there on the side of the street. God's going to raise him up all at once, and bam, he's going to be out there saying, thus saith the Lord. It's going to come to pass. Yeah.
That's right. There was one video that you posted where you just went through the book of Joel.
Yeah.
And people need to hear that. They need to hear good Holy Ghost on fire preaching. That's what we're missing.
So we've been in a place that, and I'm not throwing stones at preachers, but we've been in a place that there's been no answer.
Yes.
There's really no divine answer from heaven. We've took the Bible and we tried to preach encouraging statements, encouraging words, but we need something right now from the throne.
That's right. We do.
Something. And if I don't do it, Sister Paige, God's going to have that junkie out there on the side of the street. God's going to raise him up all at once, and bam, he's going to be out there saying, thus saith the Lord. It's going to come to pass. Yeah.
That's right. The Arizona dream, where you saw the judge standing up out of the building. He was real tall, real big, out of the building. And then if you'll share, just briefly share, touch on it, your dream about, because I think with the ballots being burned in Maricopa County and what's happening there in Arizona, the dream that you had about Samson, that's that's happening now. You know,
Yeah.
it's something,
Uh,
you know, that's happening now.
uh, but I saw the judge stand up. When he did, they had more or less fought the judge, would just refuse to do what he was saying. Well, when he stood up, it meant that, look, I'm gonna let you look here. I'm who I am. I'm the judge. And when he stood up, he stood all the way through the roof, meaning, y'all gonna listen to me.
Right.
And when he did, it ordered him and made him do what the judge was ordering them to do, but yet they still fought it. In my dream, they refused, and then they still fought and fought and fought. I seen in the dream they fought it because they didn't want revealed what was in there, and
Right.
they were trying to have time to. They're taking time trying to destroy. In my dream, they're trying to destroy everything in it to where it can't be caught. They'd rather have nothing, no evidence, than have evidence. And
Right.
they have three intentions in my dream. They're not going to give in. They're in this. I mean, they think they're going to get by with it just to bluff their way right through. But God ain't going to let it be this time. Politics ain't going to politic its way out of this. God's
Right.
going to stop them, because that's when they were in that other one. I saw how they were huddled up inside the Capitol building in Phoenix, and they was whispering. I want to tell you something. They don't want nobody to know. They want to keep a secret. Well, and then a man was pulling up outside, but they said inside, they told everybody, said, well, Samson ain't coming. We've put his eyes out. And of course he can't see. And when this man come up, there's a man come out of the car with a lad, a little small boy, had him by the hand, stepped him out the car, and then the man that had the lad, he pulled his hand and started walking. He could see. Well, then the people inside the Capitol building had asked, well, I thought you put his eyes out. I thought he couldn't see. Well, that's when there was other SUVs pulled up and started arresting, handcuffing the people there in Arizona. And something I had somebody texted me, like I say, and sometimes you can look over a dream and just amazed at some of the things you see a week later.
Right.
But when Samson, it showed the man walking up to the post in my dream, and he pushed on the pillars and the house fell on top of the people. And that's when the other one, the man got out of the car and started arresting people, but the house fell. Well,
okay, so Samson, he is the one that came in and he pushed the columns down. And then the man, after that happened, there was a gentleman that pulled up in a black SUV. He's the silver fox. So, and he pulled up, and then the baby, you saw the baby again in that dream. So was the baby leading that SUV?
Yeah, there was a little small child leading the man that got out. But I knew, see, the man was tied to the Samson fella, but I knew it was also the one that was in the prophecy about the silver fox. A silver fox shall bring you all down. I'll spread forth the anointing of the Lord, even as I anointed Samson, even as I anointed David. And the stone, it shall bring you down, saith the Lord. It was somebody authority position that God was going to use that they think he's blind. And I'm telling you, God knows what he's doing. God ain't gonna allow this to be, not right now.
Right. Not right now. And so you saw that no matter how much they try to destroy evidence or they destroy evidence, Samson's coming in and he's going to tear it down, and people are going to be arrested and justice is going to be served.
Yeah. See, what I really was seeing was they kept pushing till it aggravated. Some of the judges that we have today is not willing to overlook you breaking the law.
Some of them, right? Yeah.
Bought out and sold. But there's some of these judges today that if you break the law, they're willing to read the book at you, you know, and make you look, this is the way it is, and you're going to abide by it. Well, they kept pushing until they pushed their way into something they thought, you know, they had broke the law and they're going down for it, but they didn't think they would. They thought they'd politic right through it. But this lady texted me on my phone, and she was telling me it's a saint down there that prays for me. Somebody prays for me every day. Ain't that precious?
Yeah.
And she told me, she said that she had listened to the Samson deal, the dream, said, you know, that there was 3,000 people on top of that roof when Samson took the house down.
Mm-hmm.
Only just on the roof. And the lords and all of the Philistine leaders was inside that room when he pushed it down.
That's good stuff.
I thought, oh Lord, that's just too deep.
That's good stuff. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to end there. We will pick up next week with more of Brother Timothy's dreams and the hope that God has given him to offer to America. There is so much coming in the days ahead. We have a nation right now that is losing hope. We are holding on to every little scrap that we can. That's why I wanted to share this with you today. Go to his channel, Timothy Dixon, on YouTube. Listen to these dreams. God has something major in store for America. I love you, and I pray that God would bless and
tình yêu mới hôm qua nay lạnh lùng băng giá. Ôi người yêu dấu ơi, người chiếm lấy tim ta nay phụ phàng xa vắng. Thôi thì cuộc tình đó chiều nay ta bơ vơ trên cát dài hoang vắng, tiếc thương cho cuộc tình ta. Nhìn sóng vô miên man thương cho đời cay đắng. Người yêu ơi có biết hay chăng, tình yêu ta như muôn vàn giấc mơ mong manh, với những ước mơ cho đêm về ta vẫn mãi bên nhau. Hãy đến một lần thôi, hãy nói một lời thôi, mãi mãi không bao giờ lìa xa. Tình yêu ta như lá vàng bay xa thật xa, cùng bay cao nắng trôi về cuối chân trời xa. Nếu như ta vẫn mãi là những chiếc lá bay hững hờ thì người ơi